So can you open a notepad? Right click, new, text document, text document.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So till now we have discussed about some topics regarding the basics like Linux commands and how to create AC2 instance. So like that we have discussed. So now actually these are the tools what I'm discussing now is not actual DevOps tools, but they are part of the DevOps tools. In regularly we are working with these DevOps tools regularly. Okay, so as a DevOps engineer, so we should also work with these tools like a Git, Maven, like that. But generally, in real time, what happened is, so developers are writing the code. Developers are writing the code, and they store the code in one storage. That storage is called as a repository. So you can type that name, repository. So the name where the developers store the code, that place is called as repository. Okay, so in real time, so not only single developers, multiple developers which are working on the same project simultaneously, and they store the code at one place, that is called as a repository. So based on this repository, okay, so actually repository, this is also called as central repository, central hub. We can also call the repository as central hub. So generally this central hub, this is also called as version control system. Version control system. So all the technical words. So what is meant by version control system means what is meant by central hub means central hub is the one place where the developers are usually store their code. Coming to the version control system, it is also looking like the same. What is meant by version control system means, so version. So when you listen the word version, so when an application is developed, okay, so initially the application is named with the version as 1.0. Okay, so later as per the requirement, okay, as per the client requirement or some changes will be there. So and or if any some fixes, any some issues in that software, okay, developers are fixing the issues accordingly, and they storing the and again developing the code with the version as 1.1. Okay, so after that again if some fixes are there, any issues are there, then the developers are again developing the code by renaming the version as 1.2. So like that the versions are goes on increasing. So for example, if you download any software for Windows, you can see the version, right? For each and every software you have the version. Okay, so for example, all these versions are stored in a single place called as repository. Okay, so what happened, what is the use of this version control system? For example, if developers are developed some version that is 1.2, but the customer observed that so many issues are there in the version 1.2 and they want to revert back to the previous version 1.1. So for that, what the developers will do is simply go to that repository and again deploying that version 1.1, and they are working on the code 1.2. Meanwhile, the version 1.1 will serving the customers. Okay, so version control system is nothing but like that. So we have a different multiple versions which are developed by the developers and stored at one place called as repository. Okay, so these version control systems are two types. Actually, these version control systems are two types. First one, centralized VCS. First one, centralized VCS. Second one, decentralized VCS. Decentralized VCS. So this is very, very important interview question. So when coming to the bit topic, so definitely they're asking the basic question. So what is a centralized VCS? What is decentralized VCS? Or what is meant by version control systems? What are different types of VCS? They're asking the question. So here, what is meant by centralized VCS means, so in the centralized VCS, we have only one central repository where the developers are working on that repository continuously connected to it. Developers are continuously working by connecting to this repo. Okay, connection is mandatory. So that means developers are generally working on their own systems. But when the organization uses the centralized VCS, then all the developers who are working, they must connect it to this centralized VCS. Otherwise, the code will not be stored in that repo. Okay, internet connection, we can call that internet connection, that is mandatory. Okay, if the internet connection is lost, so the developer unable to connect with the central repo. Okay, so that means developers are continuously connected to the central repo. That is the main point in the centralized VCS. Okay, developers are continuously connected to the central repo. Okay, but what is the drawback of this one? So the main problem is here connectivity. Okay, the main problem here, it is the connectivity. So when the developers are continuously working with the central repo, they should store the code in the central repo only. Okay, so when they are working by connecting to the central repo, so whatever the code that is developed, okay, that is stored in the central repo itself. Okay, the code developed by the developers, that is stored in the central repo only. That means there is no backup. Okay, there is no backup in their on the own machines, in the own laptops. There is no backup. So the entire code that is developed by the developers, that is placed in the central repo only. Okay. For example, if anything happens, if the central repo is crashed, then what happened? If proper backup is not maintained, what happened? All the developers' work will be vanished. Okay, all the developers' work will be gone. Okay, that's why so centralized version control system have these drawbacks. Okay, what are the main points in centralized? So here, so always we have one central repository and developers are continuously connected to the central repo and work there. Okay, and the code developed by the developers, that is stored in the central repo itself. There is no backup in their own laptop. Okay, in the own machines there is no backup. That is the main problem for centralized version control system. Whereas in case of decentralized version control system, okay, so just opposite to centralized. So what happened in the decentralized? In the decentralized, okay, the developers are working on the code. They should connect it to the central repo where only two times. Okay, the developers are working on the central on the code and they connect to the central repo only two times. Okay, what are the two times? One is when they are login for the first time on a day. First, they need to pull the code from the central repo. Okay, first they need to pull the code from the central repo, and the developers are working on the code in the local machines. Okay, in the local machines, the developers are working the code. So generally, what happened? The code will be available in the central repo. So what happened? So developers every day morning they are pulling the code. Every morning they are pulling the code from the central repo, and they are working on that code in the local machines, in their local laptops. And once their work is completed, finished, so what happened? They will push the code into the central repo. Okay, again they will push the code into the central repo. That means what do you understand by this? The developers are connected to the central repository only 2 times. One is while pulling the code, another one is pushing the code. So no need to connect to the central repository continuously. Okay, no need to connect to the central repository continuously. So that is the main advantage of this decentralized VCS. And one more point, what we discussed in centralized VCS, okay, there is no backup, right? There is no backup in the centralized repository. Whatever the code developed by central developers, that is stored in the centralized repo only. But in case of decentralized, so what happened? So once the developers are pulling the code, each and every developer has the code. Each and every developer has the code. Okay, if the central repo failed, what happened? The backup will be present at each and every developer. That is the main advantage of decentralized version control system. So backup is available at each and every developer. That is the main advantage. Okay, in case of decentral, that's why in the real time, so most of the organizations, they are using the decentralized VCS only. Clear? What is the difference between centralized and decentralized? Okay, so this is a very, very important question in interviews. Definitely they're asking the question. Okay, at least one of the interviews definitely will face this question. What is difference between what is meant by version control system? What are the different types? Okay, so example for centralized VCS. Okay, example for centralized VCS is Subversion. Okay, Subversion is the tool. Okay, Subversion is the tool. Okay, and next example for decentralized is GitHub and GitLab for decentralized. So GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, etc. Bitbucket, Bitbucket. So these are the examples for decentralized. So in the most of the industries, they are working with the decentralized only. And if you learn any one tool, the remaining also will be same as it is. Okay, the remaining tools are also same as it is. So in our DevOps class, so I'm going to discuss about Git and GitHub. So those two I'll explain. Okay, so first download the Git tool from the internet. So download the Git from internet. Sir, you can do it, sir.
Sir, we already downloaded, sir.
So Krishna sir is not downloaded, so that's good.
Sir, what is the meaning of version control, sir? Like I'm late now. I thought it's
Okay,
9:30.
version control system is nothing but developers who are developing the code and they are putting the code in the central repo, right? So that central repo has different versions. That means the code developed by the developers have different versions as per the customer requirement. Sir, Git tool, sir.
Okay.
Git tool. Git tool download. You can type. Okay, so for example, let us say the developers are developed some software with the version 1.0, and later customer require one more added some features or some bugs are there in that existing code. So developers are developed that code and they are renamed that version as 1.1. And after that again some points will be added and again developers are working on that with the version 1.2. All the three versions are present in that version control system in the repo. Okay, so for example, if 1.2 is not satisfied by the customers, then the customer said to the developers to revert back the changes to 1.1. So then they'll developers are again so revert back the changes and redeploy the version 1.1, and again they're working on the issues that are there in the 1.2. So that is the meaning of this version control system. Sir, click
Okay, sir.
next exit. Next, sir.
Sir, Krishna, sir, you just type as git hyphen scm hyphen scm.com.
Sir, type next, finish. Next. Use the default settings and finish. Meanwhile, go to that Chrome git-hub. Enter login. So play let the login is there. Yeah. This one, second one. Now create an account in the GitHub. Sign up.
Top right, sir. Sign up.
Sorry, sir, because of
No problem, sir. That's why for clear understanding only. So
should I give my name like this? No,
you email, sir. You need to give the email.
it's not signed.
Create an account, sir. Create an account. You don't have that.
Sir,
Here
here
at
at the bottom, new to GitHub, create an account is there, no, sir?
Type here your email, sir. No problem. Here you can type your email.
It's not showing here, sir.
Type it, sir. It will come. It is loading. Still, it is loading.
Okay, enter your email, right?
Create the password, sir.
What is password is in list of passwords commonly used in other websites.
It's showing that like the password is not strong. That's it. No issue, sir. You can change it later.
No.
You should give the upper character
One letter cap.
and special letter.
Okay, I'm giving all the things, but yeah, wait. Sir.
Sir, one capital letter, one small letter, one number, one special character.
I'm using. Yeah.
Give the username.
Username. It's your wish. It's not
It's
available,
not
sir.
available.
Something Krishna 8 or Krishna 3 or something it may be. Or Krishna Mutyam.
Sir, you need to remember this name.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes,
why.
sir.
That's why. Give a specific name that you need to remember.
But it's not highlighting, no, sir.
So it's not accepting special characters.
సార్ స్పెషల్ క్యారెక్టర్స్ తీసుకోదు. ఒకటి మీరు గుర్తున్నట్టు తీసుకోండి, ఎందుకంటే మనం మళ్ళీ గిట్ బ్యాష్ యూజ్ చేసినప్పుడు మీ యూజర్ నేమ్ తో వస్తుంది కాబట్టి సింపుల్ గా మీకు అర్థమయ్యేట్టు
You can give
చూసుకోండి.
small also, sir. A also small. You need to give all the capital letters.
వచ్చేసింది. Otherwise, I do one thing, sir. Just I'll go with yeah. That's enough, no, sir.
It is not
It's not available, sir. Sir, just give Krishna Mutyam.
Give your name, sir.
All small letters. KRISHNA MUTHYAM. Remove the comma.
Okay.
This
That is not available. Three.
No. Yeah.
Why?
Type Y for
Yes.
Why? Start puzzle.
Yeah. Start puzzle.
Click on that.
Click on the
Pick
galaxy.
the spiral galaxy.
Then
You're almost done.
Put your email, sir. You'll get the email. You'll get the coding email.
actually this process should be done before the class. I already mentioned.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was busy with that.
Okay.
Sorry for the.
Go to your email.
Sure.
Enter the code. You can check your email in the phone and enter.
Yeah, I got it. I am using my mobile phone.
That's it, sir. It'll nothing. If you come down, skip personalization. Skip it.
So
That's it, sir. Anything else?
yes, that's it. So this is the way how the dashboard is looking like. Okay. So here on the left side, you can see the create repository. That means you can create your own repository. Just wait, sir. Just wait. I'll explain the tools here. So here, create repository. So you can create your own repository. That means your own code that will be present here. Or if you have an existing repository from your friends or any other known sources, then you can import the repository also. Okay. So and at the corner, you can see that your username. So just click on the username, sir. Yeah. So here you can see your profile, your repositories, your code spaces, your projects, okay, your stars. So upgrade. So like the settings also there. Okay, I'll explain the settings part. You know, the remaining parts are each and every is well known for you. I'll explain the settings part later. Okay, so first let us directly go to this create repository first. When you start the create repository, so it is asking the repository name first. The owner is you only. So under your name, so you need to create a repository name. So give any name, sir, like test repo. Okay, so see here, you can give the description, that is also optional. Okay, so this is my first repo. You can also like that, you can give the description. So here we have two types of repos. One is public repository, other one is private repository. So by default, okay, Git account will give only one private. Okay, so but whatever the code that is default is public. Okay, but it is given one private repository. So public and private, the difference is here. If you store the code with a public name, okay, the public access. So here at the bottom it is clearly mentioned. Anyone on the internet can see the repository. Okay, so that is, it is freely available to all the people who are there in the internet. Those who can easily access your this repo, whatever the repo that you are creating with the name. So private means that is only private, that is only visible up to you only. Okay, but by default, GitHub free account that is giving only one private repository. Mostly it is public repository only. So public repository do not need any username and password access. So anybody can import this repo, okay, so into their local. So similarly, private means if anybody want to access this repository, so they need the credentials of you. Okay, then only that repo will be copied to the other persons. Okay. So next, coming to the points here, add a README file. Next point. So this is a default file. Whenever you create any repo, so this README file, this should be there. Without this README file, you cannot able to add any files. It is not possible to add any files. Okay, so what is the content of this README file? So README file contains the repo information, that is your repo information, and the content of the repo it will display. That is the main function of the README file. So without checking of this README file, this box, okay, repository is created, but you are not able to add any files. Okay, so that is the point about add a README file. Okay, first let us try without adding this checkbox. Okay, later you can add this one. And next, coming to the add dot git ignore. Okay, so this is also one important question, interview question. So dot git ignore. So what is the meaning of dot git ignore? So for example, okay, you have some important files in your local. Okay, when you are moving the total repo into the remote repo, okay. So here I'm saying two words: local repo, remote repo. So remember two important words: local repo, remote repo. So this GitHub is the remote repository. GitHub is the remote repository. Your local system is your computer is the local repository. Okay. So in your local, you are working with the code, and that file we have so many files. We have so many files. For example, you have credentials also there. Okay, some text file is there that is having some credentials, or some .exe files are there, some important tools are there, or some .key files are there, those important files are there. When you do the git push, Okay, whenever you do the git push, what happened? Whatever the content from the local repo, that should be moved to the this remote repository. Okay, whatever the local content, that will be moved to the remote repository. Okay, but that is insecure, right? Because when you move the your secrets or your passwords into the remote repository, that will be public access. You don't want to move those files especially. So in such case, what you can do, you can give the files, you can list out the files in the file called .git ignore. Okay, .git ignore, it will have the files. Okay, those do not, okay, those do not push into the remote repository. Okay, those do not push into the remote repository. So this is a very, very important interview question. So what a .git ignore will do? So this is a text file. .git ignore is a text file. It will contain the information of the files that are not moved into the remote repository. So if you add this one, you can give the content of this .git ignore. Okay. So next, choose a license. If it is there, license, if it is there, then you can choose the license. Otherwise, it is not required. So now click on the create repository. So whenever you click on the create repository, so repository will be created. So this is a repository that is created. So see here, there is no place. Okay, it is, you can add the file. Okay, so if you see here, on coming to each and every point here, so Krishna Mutyam 3, that is the username. Okay, slash Krishna, that is the there is a repo name. Okay, that repo at the time, so you have public is there. So it is having public access. You can see here public access. So now in the code, so generally the code section, so the code will be there. Whatever the code that will be there. So issues means if any issues while pushing the code or pulling the code, here the issues will be, you can see here. Okay, so click on the issues, sir. Here on the in this line, code issues in the top below the Krishnamurti, below the Krishnamurti, below.
సరే ద మెనూ బార్
కొద్దిగా పైన సార్.
దాని పైన సార్.
Yes. So here, if you have any issues, here the issues will be listed out here. Okay, next pull requests. Okay, if any pull requests are there, if you do git pull, so that list will be here, you can see. Okay, next actions. Okay, it will be shown what are the actions that is performed here. Okay, so next projects. So what are the list of projects under this repo that you can see here. Okay, so next wiki security. So security, click on the security. So here security is there. You can we have some policies, but mostly it is not used here. This security, we are using other security. So next, go to the settings, directly settings. So in the settings, so here all are these are the settings. Okay, so here in the options, you can change the repo name here. If you want to change the repo name here, you can change any other name you can give. Okay, so next click on the manage access. So here you can give the name. Okay, here you can give the name of the people who you want to give the repo access. Okay, that is here you can give. Just go down. So here add people is there, right? Okay, here if you click on the add people, then it will ask for the username or emails. Okay, then if you give the emails, so then the concerned mail that will be sent to the corresponding people, and if they accept, okay, then you can do, you want that people can collaborate and you can work on this project. Okay, that is the manage access. Next is security and analysis. So see here, just go down. So all these are the security related part. Okay, so next webhooks. So this is very, very important. So we will discuss this again in the Jenkins class, webhooks. Okay, so this is, webhooks are nothing but this is one way of accessing this repository. Okay, so this part again I'll explain while going for the Jenkins. So this is also very important question in the Jenkins part. Okay, so next notifications. So here you can get the notifications when you give the email. Okay, so see here, so set up email addresses to receive notifications when push events are triggered. When push events are triggered, then whenever you do the git push, so whatever the emails that you are given here, so then the emails that notifications will be sent to the corresponding list. That is a setup notifications. Next, integrations. So here you can plugins you can add here. Okay, install GitHub apps here. So next one, deploy keys. So currently there are no deploy keys. Okay, so just a moment. Right. Okay. Next one, actions. So permissions you can give here. So allow all actions. Okay, this part more that will rarely used. Next, go down. Next, environment secrets. So click on the secrets. So here, so is also not that much used. So major, these are the settings that we are mostly used. Okay, like changing the repo name and collaborations. In the real time, generally collaborations we are using. Okay, so at that moment, so you can add the names. Okay, so like that. Webhooks also one of the three. These are the three main setting part we are using in the real time. Okay, so just go up. So click on the code here. First one, code on the top. So see here, as I mentioned previously, so while creating the repository, you should select the README. Okay, add a README file. Okay, without the README file, you are not able to add any other files. Therefore, here, so see here, just if you read the line, so get started by creating a new file or uploading an existing file. So we recommend every repository include README license on .git ignore. So this is a recommendation by Git. So that's why. So click on the README. So README. So see here. So what here you can see the name of your repo name and whatever the description that is you are given. Right. So that means README file contain the so your repo name and the description of your repo name. Just go down. For example, here, so very important point here. So commit the new file. Okay. For example, just go up. You are adding some more lines. So just add any other content in the. So this is Git class. This is Git class. Git class. Okay, so like that you are added some content. Okay, and you are committing the file. That means you are the person changes this file, right? Okay, you are the person changes this file. That's why here you must give the commit message. Okay, you must give the commit message. So what is the commit message? That message should be informative. So here you can give the name some text here like content is added like that. Okay, some content is added. So if you type the commit message, then only okay, just go down, just little go down. So commit new file that is highlighted. Just remove this line. Content is added. Is just delete that one. Okay, so sometimes when you do the local settings, so here the commit new file will commit is not happen. Okay, but mostly in the real time, you should give the commit message. Otherwise, the other developers cannot understand. So what is the changes in the current code? Okay, for example, let us assume this is a code. Okay, so developer one has developed the changes and he commit the file. Okay, by entering the proper message. So he did so and so changes. So like that he mentioned in this section and click on the commit new file. So then only developer to understand, okay, he did these changes, so I need to work on the rest of the part. If he did not put any commit message, how the developer too can understand? So that's why commit message is very important, okay, in the real time. So this will give the information to the developers, right? So now give the name here. So content is added. So now click on the commit new file. So now see here. So here the readme.md file is not added. So here it is showing the content is added. The message, whatever you commit message that you are given, right, that is added here. Now we will add, so before adding some more files, so let us see here. So here you can see one, right? So main is there, right? Main. You are able to see the main, right? Is it visible, right? So main. So click on the main on Krishnamurthy 3 top. Below the
Stop it.
issues. Below the issues.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is showing the branches. Okay, this is showing the branches. So here by default the branch will be main. In some cases the branch name will be the master. Okay, the branch name will be the master in some cases, or some cases the branch name is main. You can also rename this branch name also default. So this is a default branch name. So whenever you create a repo, so this branch is default, main or master, whatever it may be. So that is a default branch. So mostly in the real time, what happened is, so developers will create a branch called feature branch. Okay, you can write in the notepad. Okay, so developers are creating the file, the branch called feature branch, and they are working in the feature branch. Okay, they are working on the feature branch. If any changes are there, again they are doing the changes in the code and they are pushing the code into this feature branch. Okay, any fixes are there, so they are working on that code and again pushing the code into the feature branch. So master branch or main branch, when this branch is used, so this branch is used when everything is perfect. Okay, when the code is ready for the production environment. Okay, when the code is ready for the production environment, then only the developers are pushing the code from feature branch to the master branch. Okay, when the code is ready for production environment, then only the developers merging, we can call the merging. Okay, developers merging the code from feature branch to the master branch. Okay, in the real time, so generally we have so many branches. Okay, so so in the real time we have so many branches, but mostly we found the name which feature is a branch name. So the main use of this branch is developers are working on this branch and they do any changes, code changes, and they will work on this branch only. Once the code is finally completed, okay, and it is ready for the production, okay, whatever the code that is there in the feature branch, that is merged into the main branch or master branch. Okay, so here you can create the branches also. I'll explain the branching part later. So first in this class, let me show the basic commands. Okay, now go to the Git, the tool Git bash, that is called as Git bash. Okay, okay, right here. So this is GitHub and the tool is called as Git bash. In your local, you are using that is Git bash. So here you can see you can create the branches here. So I'll show the part later. Okay. So here find or create a branch there, right? So you can create that branch later. So first we will work on the main branch only. So when we go to the branches section, then we can understand. So currently it is showing one branch, right? So we have only main branch is there. That's why it is showing only one branch and zero tags are there. So I'll explain what is meant by tag. So in the next classes, so you can understand what is meant by tag. Okay, now here click on add file on the right side. Click on add file. So create a new file. Here you can create a new file or upload existing files also. So give a name of your file. Say do not give the same name. Already Krishna is one file is there. I think the file is there. No file is there, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, give the some content.
Should I give the space or?
No problem. Or you can give simply file one. You can give that file one, no issues. Remove that Adya also. Just give the file one. Because we need to add some more files, that's why. So file one. So give the content here. So this is file one content. This is file1 content.
Something happened.
This is file1 content. So just go down, type the commit message. File1 is not here. Go down. So file1 is created. You can type here. File1 is created. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Here also you can create a new branch and you can add this file to the particular branch. But currently I'm adding this file to the main branch only. So here two options are there, right? So commit it directly to the main branch. First option. Second option, create a new branch for this commit and start the pull request. Second option. But currently I'm adding this file to the main branch only. So click on the commit new file. Now can you add one more file? Click on the add file. So file 2. So this is file 2 content. Now give the commit description. Okay. So two files are created now. So let us assume. So these are the code. Okay, this is the code. Code blocks. You can also call code blocks. Okay. So the developers are working on these code blocks. So when the day ends, so at the end, so developers are pushing the code into this repo like this. Okay, so now in the day morning, okay, or in the day morning, or suddenly, for example, one more case, if one developers resigned for the company, so new developer is joined. So when the new developer is joined, what he do? First, he'll get the access for this GitHub. Okay, then he clone the repo. Okay, he should clone the repo to the local, and he working on the code. Okay, so that means if you observe here, so these two files, file1, file2, and readme, three files are there here in this repo. Three files are there. Okay, but these files are not there in your local repo. Okay, local repo means in your system. So this is a remote repository. So these files you should be there in your local, and you want to work with these three files. Then what you need to do? You need to so clone this repository to your local. Okay, you need to clone. The name is clone. Okay, so click on the code. So click on the code. So here, see here, how you copy the code. So here there are two ways. So here the name is there at clone. So here two ways you can clone the code. One is by using HTTPS, other one is SSH. Okay, if they are using Linux machines, you can do SSH, or if it is Windows machine, you can use HTTPS. Okay, now just copy this URL. Okay, so just click on this. Yeah, that will be copied. That URL is copied. Okay, now go to the git bash, minimize.
Type in the search, sir.
Okay, cancel this one. Okay, right click, do the right
Click and
click,
finish.
close this set. Right click. So now see, whenever you install the git bash, so these two options will be present. One is git GUI here, git bash here. So click on the git bash. Maximize the screen. So if you want to increase the font size, so control plus. Okay, like that you can increase. If you want to decrease, control minus. Okay, so now here type the command, the first command, git clone space git space clone, git space clone space the URL that you are copied. Right click and paste. So whenever you do the enter, so what happened? The complete repo will be moved into the local. That means it is now type LL. Click on enter. What is the LL command will do? It will list out the files on the desktop. So these are the files which are there on the desktop. Now see, Krishna is the file. Okay, Krishna is the repository name. Okay, that is there in the remote repository. Now that is cloned into your local. That is cloned into your local. Now move into the folder Krishna. Move into the folder Krishna. How do you move the folder Krishna? What is the command?
CD space
CD space Krishna.
Krishna.
So now see here. What is the difference you observed here?
Desktop to
See,
main.
What
Main.
is this main?
Local to
That means
Remote.
currently you are in the main branch. Here the main is, it is indicating the branch name. Okay, whenever you are moving into the folder, okay, now you are in the local repository. Okay, this Krishna folder is the local repository. In the local repository, so main is the branch. Okay, so like in the remote repository, how the main branch is there. So similarly, in the local repository, the same main branch. Now type LL again. Now see, whatever the files which are there in the remote repository, those files are available in your local. Okay, now you can work on these files. Now you can work on these files, or if you want to add new files, you can add the new files. Okay, if you want to add the new files, you can add the files, or if you want to work on these files, you can work on these files. So I already told you at the starting of this class. So there are two types of version control systems. One is centralized, other one is decentralized.
decentralized.
So the advantage of decentralized is, okay, now you are doing the clone. At the time only you need the internet connection, right? So while working on these files, okay, there is no internet connection is required. No need to connect with the remote repository. Okay, no need to connect with the remote repository. You can work in your local, in your system you are working. And after your work is completed, then you are pushing these files into the remote repository. Only in those cases, while pulling the code and pushing the code, only the two cases, the internet connection is required, communication is required. Okay, that is the advantage of distributed control system, version control system, decentralized version control system. Clear? Now what we do, we will add some more files here. Okay, we will add some more files here, and we move these files into the remote repository. Got it? So now how do you create the files? We have so many ways to create the files.
VI touch.
You can use VI or touch. Use touch command or VI command, whatever it may be. TOUCH. TOUCH. Touch space file3. Enter. Space. Enter. Again, touch space file4. Again, touch space file5. Now click on LL. Type LL. Type LL. You will get total 5 files are there, right? So file 1, 2. So I think some space were given. That's why it is taken 3 as a separate file, because
Yes.
Double spaces are given, sir.
touch will create multiple files when you give the file space some name. Okay, you can remove the 3 and file rm.
Sir, in the touch, if you give any space, then it takes a second file, sir.
rm space 3 space file. Enter. Now type touch file3, no space, file3. Enter. Now do LL. Now see, total 5 files are there. So file 3, 4, 5 you are added in your local. and the remaining 3 files are there from the remote repository. Now, if you observe the remote repository, so these 3 files are not there. So go to the GitHub. So these 3 files are not there here. If you do refresh also, these 3 files are not available because those files you are created in your local. Those files were created in your local. Okay, so you need to push those files into the remote repository. Okay, now just minimize this, go to that one. So now here, before moving the files, okay, before moving the files, so we need to perform some steps. So go to the notepad. So now type, I'll tell the 3 words. So just write the 3 words. First, working area. Working area. Next, space. Second one, staging area.
What is it, sir?
Staging, S-T-A-G-I-N, staging.
Staging.
I-N-G, yeah.
Okay.
Next one, third one, central repo. So now, whenever you are working with the Git, so first the file, whatever you are created, okay, the basic file that you are created, that is placed in the working area. Okay, the files that are you are created, initially they are in the working area. So here you can type the message content after working area. After working area. So type at the after working area, sir, not after working
Yeah.
area.
Understand.
So after working
Yes,
area, so here initial files are under initial created files. Initial created files are under working area. That means whatever the files were created initially, those are placed under working area. Okay. So now staging area means, okay, so you need to add these files, whatever the created files, you need to add these files to staging area by executing one command. Okay, you need to add these files to the staging area. So the command here to add to the staging area is, next, enter, sir. Type enter. The command is git space file name. Git space file name. So that means you need to give the git space file name. So git add file name. Git space. Always git commands are always followed with space, sir. Remember this. So git add the file name. If multiple files are there, okay, you can give the multiple file names. Okay. So next, third one, central repo. So now the files are under staging area. Now you need to move the files from staging area to central repo. Okay. You need to move the files from staging area to central repo. The command for this is git commit. The command is git commit. Git commit space -m M stands for Monday, space quotes, double quotes, do the double quotes.
Yes, sir.
Here you need to give the commit message. You can mention that
Should I write?
commit message. Commit message. Close the double quotes. So this is the command. So git commit -m commit message. That is the command. Okay, to add the files into the central repo. Understood, right? So whatever the files that you are created in your local, initially they are under working area. And from working area, you need to move the files into staging area by the command git add file name. Git add the file name. If multiple files are there, then you can give the git add space the file 1, file 2, file 3, like that, if you are created files. Okay. So next, from the central repo, again you need to move the files into the from staging area to, you need to move the files into the central repo.
Central repo.
Okay, with the command git commit -m commit message. Okay, so now even after doing these, so just understand, so these three areas are present in your local only. Okay, these three areas are present in your local repo only. Okay, local repo only. So these three areas will present. So, but you need to move these files into the remote repository. Okay, you need to move these files into the remote repository. So before moving the files into the remote repository, first you need to check the status of each and every files. Okay, you need to check the status of each and every file. For that, the command is git status. The command is git status. The command is git status. So this command will give the status of the current files. Okay, if you type the git status, okay, there are two colors to be shown. Okay, two colors. That means the status of the files, which are the files are in which area. Okay, so for that it is showing in two colors. So one is red, second one is green. Red color, it is indicating the files are under working area. Red color shows that the files are under working area. So green color shows that the files are under staging area. The files are under staging area. So if the files are under central repo, okay, so it is not showing any files. That means the files are not showing because the files are under central repo. Now you need to move these files into the remote repository. That means into the GitHub. For that, the command is git push. Okay, the command to move the files from central hub to local hub. Sorry, central to the remote hub. That is git push.
Come on, sir. Central hub to
Remote. Central hub to the remote hub. Central hub means your local. Remote hub means GitHub. Okay. Now we will execute the commands one by one. So now I already explained it. Go to the git bash. Git bash. So now here type git status first. Enter. So now see. So you can read the content here. You can also get the meaning. So on branch main. So you are under the main branch. So your branch is up to date with origin/main. Okay. So untracked files. So use git add space file. Use git add space file. So to include what will be committed. So three files are there, right? File 3, file 4, file 5. So these three files are under working area. Okay. So now you need to move these files into the staging area with the command git add. Okay. Now type git add space. So you need to give the file names. Git add space file 3, file 4, file 5. File 4, file 5. Now type enter. Now the files are now under staging area. So from working area to the files are moved to the staging area. So how to check this one? Whether the files are there in the working area or staging area? Again, git status.
Git status.
So So git status. Now click on enter. Now see the color is changed here. So now it is green. Green means the files are now under staging
Staging
area.
area.
Now you need to move these files into the central report. Okay. So now type the command git commit. Git commit hyphen space hyphen m space message. 3 files are added, or file 3, 4, 5. File 3, file 4, file 5 are added, or 3 files are added. Simple grind. 3 files are added. 3 files are added. Now code, click on enter. Now see what it is showing. If you want to do the commit, okay, so GitHub knows. Okay, you already did this one, right? Already committed previously in the GitHub, right? Because GitHub already you are logged in with your account, so that GitHub is known your identity. So you are Krishna Mutyam, so your name and your email, everything it knows. But this is local repo, right? This is your local. It does not understand who are committing these 3 files. Okay, this local repository cannot understand who are committing these 3 files. That's why you need to give the information. You need to give the information of the person who are committing these files. So for that, so he clearly given. So what is author identity unknown? The name here it is author identity unknown. That means local repository does not know who is the author of these files, who are committing these files. So please tell me who you are. Please tell me who you are. So for that, you need to run these commands. So git config --global user.email, your email. So git config --global user.name, your name. So you need to give these 2 information, okay, so that your local will identify. So who is the user, who is the email of that user. So before going to this one, so type git config --help space --help. Help, H-E-L-P. Now a document, enter. Now a document will be open in the Chrome. So see in the Mozilla one document, sorry, in the Edge, one document is open. So click on the document. In the Edge, in the taskbar, you can see, right? The taskbar, sorry, the taskbar. In the taskbar, another browser is open. Yeah. So see, this is the complete information about the git config file. Okay, so just go down. Just go down.
It's not moving, sir.
Sir, just drag, sir, here. Just the refresh.
No, wait.
Now copy this URL and paste in the Chrome.
Oh, really?
HTML. So not copy the full URL. At the end, use the HTML.
Yes, it's coming, sir.
Okay, just go down. So there are options you can see here. Then just go down. Again, go down. Just go down. Just go down. You can see the 3 environments here. Okay, That part I want to show here. Just go down. You can see the global, system, local. Just go down.
That's it, sir.
Just go to the top and search for global. Control F. Global. Enter.
This I got, sir. Global.
Enter. Next one. Next one. Yeah, here. This one. Just go up. Just go up. Again, previous. You will find the global system. Just go up.
Should I go, sir?
Yes. Yeah.
That's the global option.
Here. Double hyphen global is there. Here on the search bar, so type double hyphen global. So see here, you can see the three environments. So double hyphen global, double hyphen system, double hyphen local. Okay, there are three environments. So just to go down, here. Here, see here, double hyphen global. So here, what does it mean? Whenever you are using the config file with a double hyphen global, okay, so the user information that will be stored globally. Okay, so in the file, so users home slash dot git config file. Okay, under this file, okay, so negation symbol is there, right? That is stands for users home. Users home slash dot git config. Under this file, the user information will be stored. Okay, so if you use double hyphen system, okay, then the user information is stored under, okay, so dot git slash config. Dot git slash config under this folder, under this file. So the user information that is stored if you are using double hyphen system. So just to go down, so double hyphen local is there. So if you use this double hyphen local option, the user information that is available under dot git slash config file. So config file, I already told you about the config file, right, in the Linux classes. So config file contain the information of the user. Okay, config file will contain the information of the users. So here also, so if you are giving the double hyphen global, double hyphen system, double hyphen local, so the user information that will be available in different folders, and those are accessible only in a particular level only. That means if you are given the command, so git config double hyphen local, then the user can do the reading activity or writing activity only in the locally. Okay, he cannot do the actions. He cannot do the perform. He cannot perform the actions with the remote repository. Okay, so for example, if you give the git config double hyphen system, so the user can do the reading operations or writing operations only system level. Under system level only, he can perform the actions. Okay, or if you give the command as git config double hyphen global, so then that user can read the content, write the content globally. Globally means he can access the remote hub also. Okay, remote repository also he can read the content, write the content. So that's why. So these are the three main environments, three main repos. Okay, that will have. One is global system, global level, system level, and local level. Okay. So now go to the Git bash. Go to the Git bash. So now see here, type the command git config, the command double hyphen global space, the command is the right global space user.email. The above command is there, right? So user.email space under quotes give your email that is given for GitHub under quotes.
What is that, sir?
Under double quotes.
Before. Okay, it's like message. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a message. Now click on
That's it, sir.
enter. Yes, click on enter. Now your email has been set. Now similarly give the name. Double hyphen global.
Is this
Okay, the command is there, right, sir? In the top. Git config double hyphen global user dot name.
this one?
Yes. User dot name. User dot name, sir. First give the user
You're
dot
right,
name.
right.
Space your name. Under quotes. Under double quotes, give the name. Yeah. Now your email and username has been set. How do you check whether these are set or not? So for that, the command is git space config double hyphen list. Enter. Now see here, you can see whatever the username that is created. So you can see here, user.email is krishnamuthyam3@gmail.com. Here you can see. Similarly, user.name is equal to Krishna. Okay, you can see here whatever the users were created. Here you can see. Is it visible, sir? So previously these two are not present. Now you are added these two users. Okay. For example, if you leave the organization, if you keep these names, so somebody misuse your emails and your names. That's why you need to remove these names from this local repo or central repo or global. Globally, you need to do these removal part. Okay, for that the command will be type the command global git config double hyphen global space double hyphen unset space user dot name. Enter. Now again the same command git config. You can do the up arrow, sir. No need to type the entire command. You can do the up arrow. Click on the up arrow, then the command will be present. Now delete name, give the email. Enter. Now unset means this will unlist. This will remove the whatever the your details are there, that will be removed. Now again check git config double hyphen list. Git config double hyphen list. Now see your name, email is not here. So those will be removed. Right. So now in this way we can add the user details and we can remove the user details. Now again add the user details because it is again asking, right? So just click on the up arrow, click on up arrow, again. Yes, click on enter. Again click on up arrow, go to the user dot name. Again. Yeah, click on enter. Now you have set the user email and username globally, right? Now you can do the commit. Previously you have stopped at commit message, right? So for that you can click on up arrow again for see the commit command. So git commit. Yeah, that one only. Now click on enter. Now see here what it is showing. So 3 files changed. So 0 insertion, 0 deletions. Okay, you are not did any changes to the existing files. That's why 0 insertions. zero deletions. You are not deleted any files. That's why zero deletions. So created, so 3 files, file 3, file 4, file 5. Now if you do the git status, enter. So now see here what it is showing. There are no files which are visible, right? So on branch main, your branch is ahead of origin main by 1 commit. Okay, use git push to publish your local commits. Okay, so now you are added your local content to the central hub. How now you need to move, you want to move these 3 files into the remote repository. Okay, so here nothing to commit. So already you have done the commit right. So nothing to commit. So working tree clean. So if you have any files to be committed, then it is showing. Okay. For example, if you add any one file and if you do git commit directly, it won't accept. Okay. For example, touch file 6. Yes, type touch file 6. Enter. Now do the git commit. Git commit. Delete that message. No, it is not working in GUI manner, sir. You need to delete keyboard. You need to use the keyboard only. So now type file 6 is added on the codes. If you do not give the codes, it will throw the error. It won't work, sir. Mouse is not working. You use the keyboard. Click on enter. Now what it is showing? It is throwing the error because whatever the file that you are created, that is under workings area only. Okay, it is not possible to move directly to the central repo.
Central repository.
So first you need to do one, move this file into the staging area. Then only you need to do into the central repo. That's why it is throwing the error. What is throwing the error? So untracked files. Use git add. Okay, you need to do git add. Then only that file will be moved to the staging area. Then after you need to do the commit message.
Right, sir?
Yes, enter. Now git commit that previous command. Now if you want, you can see the status also. It will throw, now it is in the green color. Enter. Now see, now you can check the status, git status. Now it is clean. So no files to be committed. Right. Now you want to push this, whatever the files which are there here into your remote repository. Right. Now the command is git push. Git push space. Okay, click on enter. Wait. I think it is asking on the taskbar. You can see some dialog box is there. See, yes. Now sign in with browser. So give your email with the password. Authorize. Authentication steps. For the first time it is showing. So close the tab. Close this one. So minimize, go to the git bash. Now see what happened after doing the git push. So counting the objects 100%. So 6 by 6 done. So now what happened? Whatever the files that you are created, now those are available in the git remote repository where it is in the Krishna. Okay, Krishna Mutyam 3 under this username under Krishna repo under main branch. So main to main. So under main branch, these files are available. Okay, now go to that GitHub. GitHub. Now see, you are seeing 3 files, right? So just refresh this one. Now see, all the files are available in the remote repository. Understood? Clear, right? How you are working with your local. So what do you understand from this? Assume this is the code that is given by the developers. Okay, so you are just cloning this one. You are doing the git clone, and you are added this repository into your local, and after that you are working on that one. Okay, you are working on that one, and again you are pushing the changes into the remote repository. Okay, so just go to the text file.
In this only, sir.
Text file. Notepad.
Okay.
Now here type the command git pull. Okay, so in interviews, definitely 100% they're asking the question, what is the difference between git pull and git clone? Okay, very important. 100% they're asking the question. The very first basic question they're asking this one. So what is the difference between git pull and git clone? So in the next line, type git clone. So here the difference between git clone and git pull is, so git clone will copy the entire repo. Okay, git clone will copy the entire repository. What is the git pull will do? Git pull will copy the recent changes made by the developer. Recent changes made by the developer means git pull only pull the changes. Okay, git pull only pull the changes. Git clone will do, it will copy the entire repository. Okay, for example, go to the git bash again. Git bash. Now type git pull. Enter. So already up to date. Okay, so the content of your local repo and the content of your central repo, remote repo, both will be same. Okay, central repo and your remote repo, both will be same. Now go to the remote repository, GitHub. So click on the taskbar. Yeah. Now click on the file 3. Now add some content here. So here on the right side corner, you can see the pen symbol.
Okay.
Yeah. Now type the content. So this is file 3. Let us assume this is the code that is changed by the developer. This is file 3 content. Okay. Now commit the changes. So file 3 content added. Now commit the changes. Now again click on the file 4. So click on the Krishna on the top. On the after main you can see the Krishna. Okay, click on that one.
Yeah.
Now click on the file 4. Now edit this. So make it, this is file 4 content. Now commit the changes.
Right, sir?
Yeah, commit the changes. Now what happened? You did some changes in the remote repository, like in GitHub. Now you want these changes to be back in your local. That means just assume, okay, just assume. So every day developers are working. So at the day starts, so what they do, they simply do the git pull. They do not do the git clone, right? Why? If you do the git clone, whatever the content of the total repo will be cloned, but that will be time taking process because it is a small repo, right? But generally in the real time, we have a lot of content will be there. So that's why what happened, they simply do the git pull, whatever the changes that was made by the developers yesterday. So the developers only pull the changes. They don't want the remaining content because the remaining content already there in the local repo. Just click on the Krishna. Click on the Krishna. So now see here. Here the only content in the file 3, file 4 is changed. The remaining file content will be there in your local already, right? Now you want the content that is changed in the file 3 and file 4. If you observe in local, so go to your git bash. Go to your git bash. Now type cat file 3, cat file 3, enter. Now see, there is no content here. Similarly, cat file 4. Here also no content will be there because the changes are there in the remote repository. So there are no changes in the local repo. So for that, what you need to do, you need to do git pull. When you do the git pull, then what happens? The changes in the remote repository will be there in your local. Okay, now type git pull, enter. Now see, so previously when you do the git pull, it is showing already up to date. Now it is showing what it is showing. So file 3, 1 plus, file 4, 1 plus. So 2 files are changed. So 2 insertions will be there. That means you are made the 2 changes in the remote repository. The 2 changes will be replicated in your local. Now type cat file 4. Now see, this is file 4 content. Now type cat file 3. Now see, this is file 3, right? So whatever now you have the changes from the remote repository. If we again do the git pull, okay, so it is showing that already up to date. Okay, now if you are do any changes here, if you are do any changes in your local, the changes will be applied to the remote repository by git push command. Similarly, the remote repository changes can be coming to your local by using git pull command. Understand, right? What is the difference between git push, git clone, and git pull? Clear? Is it clear, all of you?
Yes, sir. Very clear, sir.
Okay, so
Yes,
in this
sir.
way, we are working with the Git in the basic level. So these are the commands which we are daily using. So can you go to the notepad, sir, once again? So these are the daily used commands. So git push, git pull. So git clone is only one time useful command. Okay. So when you are joining in the organization, so the day 1 or day 2, when you are receiving your laptop, okay. So on when you got the access for this GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket, so you need to execute this command. So git clone followed by the URL. Okay, then you are moving into the corresponding folder. So what we did in the starting, right? So when you're moving into the corresponding folder, then what happened? So now you are in the local repository. This is only one-time activity. Git clone is only one-time activity. But git push and git pull are your daily activities. Okay. So here you must get a doubt. Here you must get a doubt. What is the doubt? I already told you at the starting, and starting onwards I'm saying, so developers. So developers are working with Git. So they are writing the code, they are pushing the code. What we are doing, we are cloning the repository, we are pulling the repository, and we are doing the changes, and we are pushing the repository. You are a DevOps engineer, right? Okay, you are a DevOps engineer. So what are those files will contain? Those files will contain the code, right? But you don't know the code. The code may be Java, the code may be .NET, the code may be any other Python language. What you are doing by downloading that code? Right? Understood, right? My question. Developers are working on that one, and they are pushing the code into the remote repository, and you are cloning that repository or pulling the repository, and you are doing the modifications in that files. But you don't know the language. So since these are small files, right? That's why you are doing the git pull, git push, and git clone. But in real time, so these are not simple files, right? File 1, file 2, file 3, like that. The files will not be there. In the real time, they have the files, some code content. The developers content, code content will be there. Then what you will be do? So here the answer for this is you are not touching the code because you don't know the code. Developers are developing the code and they are testing the code. They do the unit test cases and they simply push the code into the repo. They are simply push the code into the repo. Then what is the DevOps in your role here? What is the use of learning GitHub and Git tool here? Okay, at the starting classes, I think I already mentioned the folder structure, right? Okay, so sir, can you type the folder structure? src slash main main slash Java. Next, enter. src again, src slash main only, not name. Main slash test. Next, click on enter. src main slash resources. Resources, resources. So now, if you observe the folder structure, the first one is src slash main slash Java. That will contain the code, actual code given by the developers. Okay. Next one, src main test. So that will be given by the test cases. That is the test cases given by the developers only. Unit test cases that will be performed, and they'll put the test cases under this folder. And third one, src main resources. So this is not given by the developers. So as a DevOps engineer, you need to create the resources. You need to add the resources in this folder, and you need to, after adding the resources, you need to push the code again into the remote repository. Understood, right? You are not
Yes,
touching the Java file. You are not touching the test file. You need to create the resources file under the same folder, and you need to push that code into that entire code into the remote repository. That is the DevOps role. Understood? So that's why we need to learn the Git commands. Clear?
right.
So
Sir, means like whatever the program that is present in src main Java, that we are pulling into our local repository, and we need to push it again into the resources repository, or what, sir?
actually, first at the starting Git pull, okay, when you are doing the Git clone, entire folder structure will be loaded into your local. Okay, including code, including test cases. Okay, everything will be cloned into your local. Now you are creating the resources folder or file, then you are pushing that resources into the remote repository. You are not allowed to touch this code file or test file. Understood?
Okay.
Because you
And
don't know
one more
the
thing, sir.
folder structure. Yes.
Yes. And one more thing, sir. At the starting, we'll be doing git clone, and we'll be using the web, HTTP address, and we'll be cloning now, sir. Like, after some time, if the developer changes any code, then again, if you run the git clone, then the complete repository will be updated, sir, or what?
The complete folder will be cloned again, but it is throwing error because that entire repository already there in your local, right?
So we use git pull.
Yeah, that's why you need to use the git pull command for the changes that was made by the developer.
Okay. Okay, sir. Understood, sir.
Yeah, that is a major difference between git clone and git pull. So this is a very, very important interview question.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Right. Still, some more git commands are there. So we will discuss those on tomorrow.